All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto nerds of all ages. That's right. We got more we're bringing to you today. You know who I am. I'm the real Monty Allen, and I am your crypto nerd.
And I'm Cooper Daniels from the Recoup. And welcome back to AlgoFest 2021. All right. So we're here now with Wes from Yieldly.info. How's it going, Wes?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm all right, man. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, your background and what you're doing with Yieldly.info?
Right. So I'm a computer science student, still in school actually, but I've been involved with cryptocurrency since probably October of last year. Algorand really just fell in love with it, as I think most people have.
Similar story.
Yeah. And Yieldly was kind of the first big project to come up, and I saw an opportunity to just like build on that, and build with the ecosystem there, and I just kind of jumped on it.
Cool. So what are you doing? So what is Yieldly.info?
So the I guess official, the elevator pitch is that it's a third-party data analytics platform. So one thing that's mentioned is Yieldly.info affiliated with Yieldly itself? The short answer is no, and the long answer is that I don't think that it should be. Part of the value provided by blockchain is the ability to, like the public ledger, as is discussed frequently, and for I think the average person that doesn't actually mean anything, it's a verifiable public ledger. What Yieldly.info is doing is actually making that public ledger viewable to the average person. Like, you don't have to go through Algo Explorer and look for transaction IDs or round numbers. You can just click around on the UI, and you can actually see every account and how much Yieldly is in their account. And if you're interested in doing the math, you can see how much of the pool you're actually a part of, how easily influenced the price could be if one of those whales decides to sell. And I think that's the really, for this application in particular, I think it provides a lot of value, because you want to be safe on your investments. And with Yieldly itself, that's what this is providing. And hopefully more projects in the future, when they come along.
That's awesome. So cool. I pulled up the website as it is right now. And can you kind of guide me through here and tell me what is it that I'm looking at here? So I pull up the data, and I see 6 squares here with different dates. And I assume this is daily snapshots, or is it live?
No, those are daily snapshots. So data is collected every day at noon UTC or 8 a.m. Eastern time, and stored in the database. That data I'm gonna keep archived forever. Like, the point is to have this historical data as well. So when we come back in 3 years, we want to be able to see all this to potentially predict price movements, or see if there was factors in the early days of Yieldly that did something important, or whatever. So this is.
I just want to go back and say, do you remember when it was less than 3 cents? And
yes,
go back to that. Let's see who the whales were then.
Right, exactly. And maybe we see a huge price dip, and we want to know what happened back in 2020 and 5 years from now. We want to be able to see those things. And that's kind of the premise. And these are the daily snapshots. Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent there. These are the daily snapshots, which is just showing the date and, the eye-catching metrics, like how much Algo staked, how much Yieldly staked, the price when. Now, the price, I will admit, is not the most valuable metric at the moment because of how volatile the price is. But I think in the future will become a bit more valuable, just because, like, I mean, as we've seen over the past week, the price has been moving 30%, like, just every day.
It's definitely been volatile, in a good way so far, at least this week.
Yeah.
What happens if I hit this view more button? What am I going to take a look at?
That will take you to the specifics of that day. So,
okay. So this
here,
was this yesterday? I forget. Yeah. Okay.
That's actually today.
That's today. Okay.
So
if I'm a user, what do you have? Metrics that what are people looking at here? What buttons get pressed the most? What are people curious about when they go to your site?
Now the most frequent question people have is what rank they are staked. So as you can see at the graph or the table in the bottom, there's a little magnifying glass that you can actually search for your wallet address, and you can see what staked rank you are on the site, or like in Yield, because I don't know, people find that fun. There are also links to seeing the address.
Take you to ALGO Explorer, this little magnifying glass right here.
Yep, and then the button to the left of that will take you. It's a local link to show you the wallet's metrics, like the particular metrics. That would probably be not a good wallet to choose because it doesn't have a lot of activity.
Yeah, that's the third largest staker. No, what is that?
You're currently searching by ascending.
Oh, the least amount. There we go.
Yeah. So
these are the big wallets. These are the ones everybody wants to know about. Okay.
Yeah. So if you check like the fifth one there, that would actually have some really interesting graphs. Yeah. So we can see how much Algorand they have staked over time, what rank they are, as well as the Yieldly, how much Yieldly they have staked, and the Yieldly rank they have below that.
So their Algorand staked amount has stayed about the same, if I'm saying this correctly, but their rank has increased. So other people have staked less.
Other people have staked more than that. It's a bit confusing right now. Their rank is increasing.
Got it. Okay. So raising up means they're falling down the list.
Correct.
Okay, understood. And this is their Yieldly. So every time their rank raises, that's actually kind of a bad thing. They got passed up in the Yieldly race. Okay, got it. You got to gamify this stuff, man. Like that's why I check this stuff out. I assume a bunch of other people. That's why they're looking to see, where they're at. I mean, I check it out, and I'm not gonna lie. Like it's like a horse race. I want to pass up the guy or gal, whoever's, in front of me. I'm like, well, if I stake, at the optimal time, maybe I can earn, 20 more Yieldly than they did, and I can catch up to them inch by inch.
Right.
We'll see. So, okay, that's great. Have you had much interaction with the other site? Josh, LMAO, and I forget who his partner was, but they have a similar site, and I saw in a chat where they actually were inspired by yours initially, but I'm wondering if you had any communication with that group. I forget what their website's called, but it's also got similar information.
I'd actually be surprised if they were inspired by mine, because I think I was inspired by theirs.
Really?
Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I could have swore they were like, man, we saw Wes's stuff, and so we wanted to put something together. Interesting.
Yeah. On like the initial, like the very beginning of this project, when I was to take us back to the very beginning, this all started as a way to try and predict price movement. Because with the lack of exchanges, I was thinking that I'd be able to actually predict where price would be going based off of the number of wallets that had low amounts of Yieldly. So once an easy exchange was listed, I just predicted that people would sell that. And I wanted to see, try and see how much of a price movement we'd see. Very quickly became way more than that. And I think way more valuable than that, with providing transparency into DeFi. And it was Josh from that site that actually helped me. He showed me how to get the application data from AlGO Explorer. And yeah, it was just like on Reddit. I saw his site and I just asked how he did that, and then it just took off from there. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Coop, you want to ask that question there? I see you looking at it.
Yeah, sure. So it says, does the data show does the data show at the top, does the data show the top wallets are true holders, or if they are MEXC or
Yeah, we
the devs
identified some of
staking
those big
real?
wallets.
Yeah.
That is something that I plan on adding soon. That's less of like a programming job and more of like an investigating job. I don't know whether to call him Shaman or Andrew from Algonauts. He's actually done quite a lot of investigating into those top wallets. And so he's found that some of them are actually the same entity or person. And I would like to actually build a bit of a better picture for users to see if these wallets are the same person, label the Yieldly wallets, obviously, have exchange wallets listed there, because again, these are all like important things to have clarity on when looking through these metrics.
Yeah, who's staking 135 million Yieldly or something? That's actually, is it more than that now? It's I think the equivalent was like 3.4 million, fiat US dollar.
Yeah, and what's even more alarming is they had nothing in their wallet 15 days ago.
Yeah,
and then it just popped up. Like that's
weird.
Where did that come from?
Exactly. And I think these are important questions to be asking when you're holding, any amount of Yieldly. Like that we want as investors in a project. I don't know if you can call them investors, but stakeholders at least. It's really important to know what's going on with your money, and I think that's what this is enabling.
Well, how would you even? How did Shaman, or how do you even figure out who's, like, if it's the same person in different wallets? Like, what do you do to do that?
Well, that has been largely Shaman doing that investigatory work, but he's noticed a lot of like activity between the wallets that wouldn't appear to be like transactional. Like they just 100 million Yieldly sent from this wallet to this one without any return is probably the same person or entity.
Got it.
They're not just paying for something, right?
Yeah,
they're just transferred from one wallet to the other wallet. It'd be interesting to see, which ones are entities and which ones are connected to each other. That sort of thing is, we're just naturally curious. And one thing about blockchain is we love that transparency, unless it's, somebody looking at our stuff and then we want privacy.
Right.
We want anonymity. So, and it's an interesting dynamic. On one end, like we're fiercely, curious. Okay, what's going on? On the other end, there's a whole bunch of us that are like, hey, I want my anonymity. Like, yeah, I want to go look at somebody else's and identify who that is, but don't look at mine. So it's an interesting dynamic that we have to kind of play off of there, and it's just human nature. But I love all the data, and you've done a great job of collecting all of it, but I'm guessing you're going to do more than just, collect the data, because the data itself is valuable. What's the next evolution for you folks?
Right. It's a bit of a loaded question, admittedly, but I've given a lot of thought into how to actually make this like a sustainable project, because obviously I could put advertisements on the website. I don't necessarily, just like personally, I'm not a huge fan of advertising and like making money that like it's a thing. Personally, I'm just not a big fan of it. I've considered, trying to make partnerships with things like entities like Yieldly, or if I'm doing like data collection for Tiny Man or AlgoDex, like trying to make partnerships there. But at the same time, like that kind of creates a conflict of interest, I think, in this way that I want to be an independent third party collecting data on these services to try and keep them in check, or to try and provide value to the users so that they can have trust in these projects, or a lack of trust. That's also important, just having that transparency. So the marketability of this product is kind of difficult to find, because I don't want to be partnered with, well, and like any other entity really.
Right.
The point is to be independent. So what I'm thinking the next move would be obviously expanding the service to cover different decentralized finance applications in Algorand. I don't want to work on other blockchains, just personally. They're a bit difficult, but trying to collect more data is obviously a big one. Like collecting Smilecoin data would be, I think that's probably next up on my list of things to do. That seems like an interesting project, and one that I think we could get value from having those metrics for.
It is an interesting project. We got a conversation with them, I think, a little later on today. There's a whole bunch of ASAs, and I mean, honestly, it'd probably be a tough job for you to figure out which ones you really want to work with. I mean, if you just pick like the top 4 or 5 or something, you've got your hands full.
Mm-hmm. And also, like with the way that centralized finance works, it's kind of a different landscape to navigate every time. Like the way that Yieldly's contracts are set up, it's going to be different than the way that Opulus sets up contracts or whatever. And so the data is going to be it's just an evolving challenge. But to get back to the original question of what's next, I believe that Yieldly.info will be getting consumed into a parent company that I don't want to release the name of yet, but it will be run by me, and I also need partners. So if anyone's interested, I am very open to receiving input or anything. My email's on the website, wes@yieldly.info. But this
nice
parent
crowdsourcing plug there. I like it. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Have you looked into like possible like grants from the foundation or anything like that?
I have not yet. That is something that I would like to do. That still feels like a tiny bit of a conflict of interest, though, because a part of this is also providing checks and balances for Algorand, who I trust completely, but trust but verify. I'm not trying to get into that, but like it. So potentially being able to do that in a way that I don't feel in any way there's an expectation from Algorand, I would be interested in doing. But I don't want any form of conflict of interest in terms of like the transparency provided there.
That's cool, man. It seems like you very much prioritize the integrity of your site and what you're doing, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's the aim.
Cool.
I don't think it can exist otherwise, essentially.
Nice. Do you I mean, so you got into Algorand in October and you've started it with Yieldly. Do you have a particular project outside of Yieldly and ALGO, obviously, that you're most excited about or anything like,
As the people in the Algonauts chat will affirm, I love Opulus. I think I'm
you're Wes. You're Wes from the Algonauts
yes,
chat.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very quick. I mean, like,
I can tell.
I'm putting this stuff together. Like,
yeah.
Well, nice to meet you, Wes. Yeah.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I cut you off.
We tried to pin down Opulus earlier to some dates for some releases, and he dodged artfully.
I know Lee is he's a quick one.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I've been relatively close to the music industry. The school I go to is one of the top 5 music industry programs. I don't have anything to do with that, but I'm involved with a lot of like music people and professors at my school who interestingly have been talking about Opulus, like this product that isn't even existent. They're like talking about to students with. I think it's been fascinating. And like the ability it has to really upend the stranglehold that the big 3 companies has on the music industry, I think is going to be fantastic. As both like an investor and the health of the music industry and artists, like I think it's just going to be a fantastic product.
Yeah, it's going to inspire folks and make it the barrier to entry is going to be reduced greatly.
Yeah.
And we also, I feel like we kind of plowed past it when in that interview, but like he dropped that he thinks that ALGO is going to be $10 by the end of this year.
Yeah, right.
And we weren't even like, oh wow, cool. We were just like, okay, so anyways.
Yeah. Back to our question.
Big deal. $10 in a few months, but yeah.
So
like he's cool.
Wes, are you a TA guy? I mean, you built the website and you're talking about like, okay, so I wanted to, do some price predictions or see what's happening in movements and kind of, understand why price moves and when it does. I mean, do you have some predictions? Do you want to make some call outs there? What do you think is going to happen with Yieldly and, specifically?
I will happily provide non-financial advice.
Yes.
So I like to boil these things down to like their simplest, most intuitive and logical basis. And with that, Yieldly, I'm just going to say pretty similar to Uniswap. And if Yieldly was going to have the market cap that Uniswap has at full pool dilution, we'd be looking at $1 a coin, maybe $2. Like obviously there's risk between that point and where we are right now, and there's some promises that need to be fulfilled and actions that need to be taken, but that I trust in their ability, and apparently so do other people, as well as the Algorand Foundation. Similarly with Algorand, I think Algorand is just a better product than Ethereum. Like Ethereum first mover, sure. I don't think that first mover matters. For instance, like Windows was first mover, and yeah, it has this ginormous market share in terms of operating systems, but Mac is, I guess you can kind of say it was a first mover, but I don't think really the Mac we know today was a first mover in the space, and they never are. Apple isn't a first mover company, and yet they've created an entire company around building products that are better than the predecessor.
Right.
And I don't think first mover holds a lot of merit in terms of long-term value. And that's why I see Algorand surpassing Ethereum in market cap, given 5 to 10 years. But that's my personal belief.
So the top 26 wallets, I think I just saw this on your site. Is it true the top 26 wallets have 50% of the available Yieldly? Did I see that metric correctly?
Yes, the top 26 wallets hold 50% of the staked Yieldly.
So not total Yieldly, just staked Yieldly.
Correct. Staked Yieldly is also less than circulating Yieldly. Mm-hmm. So like, we're kind of getting into layers of abstraction here, but I chose to make that metric on staked Yieldly because that kind of removes the exchanges from that. Like I circulating Yieldly exchanges could be holding on to. I don't think it's really fair to count them into like holding Yieldly as like a user.
Yeah.
But yeah, 26 accounts hold half of like what I would consider user held Yieldly.
The stake, that's a lot. I mean, I don't know what the risks are, but it's definitely not as decentralized as we think then, because 26 people. And from what you're telling me, I think maybe we figured out that some of those wallets are even from the same entity. So that's interesting there too. When they're so big, I don't even know why they need to split them.
Yeah, that is something I would like to find the answer to, if there's any rationale behind that. Because the other thing we're seeing is that those top wallets aren't actually, they're staking the Yieldly but not claiming the rewards. I literally, I could not even begin to give an explanation on that.
I mean, it's just rolling over though, right? So until we move over to the, even after we move over to the TL4, automatic compounding version, they'll still, if they're still in there, they'll still be able to claim it. right?
Yeah, I suppose that is true. Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe the pool is available. If there's no pool available, then they'll miss out.
Right.
So it seems like people want to know if you could be able to, like, are you able to track the people who are selling opposed to holding?
Yeah. Do the top 26 wallets, are they gaining or are they losing? You know, are the whales accumulating or selling?
Right. So another metric I have there is the Yieldly held by the top 20 accounts. So the metric of number of accounts that hold 50% might seem correlated to that, but actually is only like a circumstantial thing for right now. The How should I say this? The amount of Yieldly held by the top 20 accounts is a really good indicator for what the whales are doing, because it's just telling us if that price moves up or down in a day, we can gauge whether that's happening. I think what people would really like to know is kind of like a whale alerts on Twitter, to see what activity is coming from those whale wallets, and that is something that I'm considering doing. And it would be very possible, being able to just track exchange. That's something that Shaman has actually done rather well, is tracking how much Yieldly is moving into exchange wallets, and that is something that could be automated, and it's something I'm considering doing. It does kind of it is a bit of a scary thought, because I know that people put a lot of weight into those things. And my goal is to not perpetuate these volatile markets, like, oh, this whale just moved 20 million Yieldly into Mexi, and then the price tanks, but they were just doing that to bait them to buy. Like that's a completely reasonable thing to happen, and I'm not trying to perpetuate that. However, it would be kind of a nice thing to have to know.
Yeah, I love the gamification of it, and seeing if I can climb up the ranks and seeing what the big whales are doing. And we need to revamp that chart. I don't know who made that chart. That's out in the community that goes from like guppies to whales and flamingos. A flamingo definitely needs to be at the top.
Right. Yeah.
So we need to redo that based on percentage of ownership. I think somebody just pulled out some numbers and they were like 6 million seems like a big enough. 6 million should be the whale status, but I don't know if it really should be. Is at the top 2% of wallets. I have no idea, but you probably do.
I not offhand, but I could very easily figure that out. Yeah.
I actually don't. So what? There's almost 3 billion circulating right now. Is that true? And then what is the max supply of Yieldly? Is there a max?
10 billion.
10 billion. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's not
a boatload.
That's not a boatload. That's all right.
Yeah.
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 If they're $1 each, it's a boatload.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
But it doesn't feel like it can't get up, higher than 3 cents. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. To kind of like touch on the price again, I think like worst case scenario, we're looking at 10 cents a coin, full dilution. That's just me, but like that's my personal belief. Like it provides a lot of value just in being able to earn other coins. I don't know how you could turn down. It's kind of like free money. I mean, how do you say no to free money?
Yeah, that's like one of my regrets from the last couple of months, is that I just watched this all happen and I'm like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Just completely. And then I just keep on thinking I'm late and then it just keeps going up. So I'm playing this like an expert for sure. That's
yeah. But you'll have all this experience for when the next ASA drops.
That's right.
There you go.
Look at me.
I'm still dollar cost averaging into Yieldly every other day or something like that. So I just I've been quietly accumulating, and I was not always a fan. I was harsh after the whole week 4 issues that came up, and they weren't really communicative, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Is this a real business? What's going on? And a couple of folks reached out to me and set me straight, and I came to enjoy and participate in the project quite a bit more. But there was a few bumps in the road. And, something like this, you might even see, a lot of movement after week 4, right? A lot of people pulled their money out of staking and, and then it started to climb up again. It'll be interesting in a few years to look back and be like, do you remember that week 4, issue that happened? And this is kind of saving that for posterity, it seems like, huh?
Yeah, the whole week 4 thing, I actually didn't quite believe in the project at first either. Just because like there's something so pyramid schemey about like staking a coin to earn more coins. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really like look into it enough to know that like they are actually providing services like a token launchpad, being able to earn opulus, bridges, becoming a governance coin. But like just at the ground level, there's something very like, give me your money and I'll give you more. No, yeah, I don't think so.
The website kind of looks like 70s Vegas too.
Yeah, yeah.
My first glance was like, I don't know, that's a little cheesy. It's obviously grown on me, but first impressions were like, I don't know what's going on with these flamingos.
Yeah,
and I actually thought that the flamingos were good. I was like, this is cool. So this is.
Well, I've seen the shirts you wear, Coop.
I know. I was gonna say based on your shirt, and I feel like it's right up.
I know, right? I mean, come on.
Right?
Yeah.
I like the flamingos. I got to get a flamingo shirt. I think
you got to get a flamingo shirt
and buy some Yieldly and do a video on it for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna do the coffee mug flex. Oh, look at that. It's not a Yieldly cup. I'm gonna get a Yieldly cup. All right, Wes. So
should I take a drink to?
My he's got it.
We need to put a flamingo on there. So, do you have any yieldlings? Are you an NFT guy?
I am an NFT guy, but I have not. I was really involved with NFTs, actually making some. I like making generative art. Just kind of, it's like programming and making art. It's my style. It's kind of simplistic.
Okay.
I was rather involved with that when I first started, but I've been really heads down on this project just because I've been getting a lot of support for it. So it's been really rewarding to do, but also trying to, just keep it moving. I think there's a lot of potential and I'm very motivated by it. But I do not have any yieldlings. That is from a financial as well as from a just like involvement perspective, a big miss on my part.
Yeah.
Stitch
Bob did well.
Yeah, I was there from the beginning, just watch like you said with Yieldly, Coop. Just watching it roll by, like, oh, there goes a yieldling. Oh, it's 1,000 ALGO. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and there's some that are a couple. I mean,
one sold for $10,000.
Going for a couple $10,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
insane.
Cool. It's a little interesting.
Yeah, just watching it roll right by.
So we should talk about your website just a little bit more. All right. So how many hits do you get on a daily basis? How many people or what kind of traffic are we talking about now?
Oh, I have no idea. I do need to look into that. I'm so focused on like the
Emily
technology.
Says 1 million.
He's like, whoa.
And it's all Emily. She just keeps hitting refresh. Emily, by the way, Emily Conway, ladies and gentlemen, she is not a bot. She's a real person. I don't know.
Think she's a bot?
People think she's a bot because she is like always online and replies back instantaneously. They're like, I don't know if that Emily is she's like AI, but no, she's just on and just kill her.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I have not looked into like the metrics of the site traffic and whatnot. I don't know if it really matters at the moment because again, I'm not like trying to sell a product. However, I guess transparency is the product, so maybe I should be trying to sell it better.
Yeah. All right, we might have just inspired him, Coop.
Did we answer all the questions here?
I think we did. Unless there's something else, Wes. I mean, do you got anything else on your chest, Wes? You want to get out?
Yeah. I mean, kind of like. So I had mentioned how Yieldly.info is going to be absorbed into a parent company that's going to be focused on first off, providing metrics for other coins. So like that's the big one. We want to provide metrics for, you know, Smile Coin, Opulus, all that. And again, I don't know how much marketability there is there. So kind of none of this is really set in stone. There's a lot on the table right now. But I think that the direction that I'm going to be heading is to create basically an entity that's focused on third-party chain health for Algorand. So obviously the Algorand Foundation, Algorand Inc., they want their chain to perform well because of financial incentives. And by the same token, there's no reason that a third party can't also be doing that. Like as Algorand holders, we care about the chain, like the services that are provided, how many nodes are running, making sure that we have, you know, metrics to ensure that our DeFi products are trustworthy, are transparent. All of that kind of gets wrapped into the same group of just wanting a healthy blockchain. And I believe that the direction that I'm going to be heading is to be creating a company that is fully focused on third-party chain health for Algorand with a governance token, so that people, in the same way that we vote for governance health on Algorand by governance proposals, people will be able to vote on, you know, whether this entity should start relay nodes paid for with the governance token, or things like that. Again, there's a lot on the table, a lot of moving parts, not entirely flushed out. But I think that it is the healthiest way to provide these services without like violating the kind of conflict of interest that can be present, like if taking partnerships from these entities.
Right.
Good stuff.
Oh, well, we got a new one. So with the new bridges, will they still add data from the other chains?
I bet that's complicated.
That is complicated. And currently, as things stand, no. Like that would involve, you know, leveraging Ethereum, Ethereum explorers, things like that, which is certainly possible, but kind of costly. However, with the way that things are moving, with just like the way that the cryptocurrency ecosystem is moving, where everything's kind of becoming more multi-chain, I think that may have a place, but I can't say for sure.
All right. So that was a solid maybe, I think is what we
yeah, that was a solid maybe.
You Lee Parsoned us is what you just did. I take that as a compliment. All right. Well, I think that you are a much smarter guy than I am, Wes. I believe that you are going to figure out a way to monetize this and keep it going. You know, the community loves the tool. Obviously, I see mentions online, and I bet that there are a bunch of people who kind of check in and, you know, are trying to figure out those whales and what they're doing, because we are curious by nature. And so you're providing a valuable service to the community. So I know it's appreciated, and hence the crowd, you know, getting you on a show like this to spend, you know, 45 minutes with us answering questions about, okay, what's next? What else are you going to do? Can you give us more information? We're greedy for that info. So yeah, we appreciate your time. I think Cooper, are we good? We got any other questions?
No. I mean, not for me, unless you know, unless you have something else you'd like to say.
Look up my sleeve. Nope, I'm done. Wes, we appreciate you being on here for us. I'm going to go check out your website and add it to my natural rotation, and I'll check in with it in some daily morning videos as well. so that
awesome.
I'll keep updated. And if you come up with that next idea, reach out to both of us. Maybe Coop and I will have you back on again.
Yeah,
wonderful. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, man, it's nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. All right, everybody, have a good day and stay tuned. We got another one of these in about 2 hours and 15 minutes or 3 hours and 15 minutes.
I think it's 2 hours and 18 minutes.
All right, 5
p.m.
Eastern. We got Smile Coin. All right, folks. See you then. Take care.
See ya.